Every day on this channel, I cover everything Elon said on X in the last 24 hours. And here's how many times Elon posted about each subject today. I'll cover everything he said about each topic before moving on to the next one. And starting with Tesla, yesterday was the shareholders meeting, so there's lots of posts to go through from Elon today. And of course, Optimus was dancing on stage last night, and it looks quite different from, 4 years ago when it was a human in a suit. Elon was also dancing, and he dances like a robot. And the robot, or Optimus, was dancing like a human. So that's how you know that the future is now. And as you guys have probably heard by now, Elon's pay package was approved. And so he said, time to pull a lot of rabbits out of the hat. I'm assuming he means in order to meet all of the milestones. And I'm also assuming that he's talking about Tesla when he posted this, as it was right after the approval announcement. But it didn't take long for Democratic Senator Rowland in Texas to try to spoil the party, saying that Elon wants to become a trillionaire off the backs of American taxpayers while we are struggling just to pay for groceries. Elon replied saying, "You are a taker, not a maker. All you've done your whole life is take from the makers of the world. The zero-sum mindset you have is at the root of so much evil. Once you realize that civilization is not zero-sum and that it is about making far more than one consumes, then it becomes obvious that the path to prosperity for all is just let the makers make." Regarding Tesla, the reality is that I have been given nothing. However, if I lead Tesla to become the most valuable company in the world by far, and it stays that way for 5 years, shareholders voted to award me 12% of what is built. Anyone who wants to come along for the ride can buy Tesla stock. If Tesla merely becomes a $1.999 trillion company, I get nothing. This is a great deal for shareholders, which is why they voted so overwhelmingly to approve this, for which I am immensely grateful. And they did so by a margin far more than you won your political seat. And then he replies to himself saying, and Tesla employs thousands of people, has brought manufacturing back to America, is decarbonizing the world, and pays out tens of billions in wages every year. The senator responded saying trillionaires shouldn't exist, especially while people are starving, with a meme saying Jimmy status rustled. And on the subject of people starving, Elon said at the shareholder meeting that Optimus will actually eliminate poverty. Optimus will actually give people incredible medical care. Optimus will ultimately be better than the best human surgeon with a level of precision that isn't possible. That is beyond human. And Elon reposted this. He said the robots are just walking around the office 24/7 with no one minding them, and then they go charge themselves. It's going to be the biggest product of all time, bigger than cell phones, bigger than anything. There could be tens of billions of robots. He said what we're about to embark upon is not merely a new chapter of the future of Tesla, but a whole new book, and Optimus is a fundamental part of that. The scale of Optimus, like I said, that's really going to be something else. I think it's going to be the biggest product of all time by far. Like bigger than cell phones, because everyone's going to have their own personal R2-D2. We're going to launch on the fastest production ramp of any product, of any large complex manufactured product ever, and starting with building a 1 million unit production line in Fremont, and then a 10 million unit per year production line here. I don't know where we're going to put the 100 million unit production line, maybe on Mars, I don't know. But I think it's going to literally get to 100 million a year, maybe even 1 billion a year. And Elon reposted this. And they had a really cool display of the Optimus hand at the shareholder meeting. Musk said, Elon told me a few times that the hand is the most difficult part of the robot. Elon said, this is just the V2 Optimus hand. The V3 hand is another level beyond this. Exquisite engineering. And Mike P says, there are a bunch of nerds who are totally obsessed with Tesla to the point that it's mildly insane. There are also a bunch of nerds who are totally obsessed with hating Tesla to the point that it's totally batshit insane. And then there's the other 99.999% of people on Earth who are going to shit their pants the moment they realize they can text in their car while it drives them or sit on the couch roasting Optimus while it loads the dishwasher. Elon says 100. And Elon did actually say that in the next month or two, Tesla will allow you to text while using FSD and reduce the attention monitoring strictness. And then Elon reposted this thread from Tesla with a breakdown of some of their latest initiatives. Robotaxi is next coming to Nevada, Florida, and Arizona, and they restated their goal to remove safety riders by the end of the year in Austin. And we got our first video of the unboxed process Cybercab production line. They said that production will be starting for the Cybercab in April, and that it will be purpose-built for autonomy. We also got our first look at the Tesla Optimus production line. This is the pilot production line that's currently running in Fremont, and it's significantly larger Generation 3 production line that's coming in 2026. And they're also testing in their factories and office spaces for real-time use cases with Optimus, and they stated that their goal is $20,000 cost of goods sold per robot at scale. And Tesla said that designing chips in-house unlocks absolute efficiency that no off-the-shelf part can match. AI-5 has the potential to be 50 times more performant than AI-4, working toward mass production in 2027. It will be used in vehicles, robotics, training, and data centers. And we also saw the new Tesla Semi design. It's more efficient, it has an increased payload, it's designed for autonomy, and deliveries are going to start next year. And sustainable energy is essential to an abundant future. Renewables and battery storage provide clean, affordable, and reliable energy that scales with growing demand from electrification and AI data centers. They say the entire Earth can be powered by sustainable energy with tech that exists today. And we learned that 4680, their in-house developed battery cell, will supply Cybertruck and will supply the Semi and the Cybercab. And volume production of Tesla Semi is designed for 50,000 units a year. And they've scaled Megapack production to 80 gigawatt hours, maybe more, 20,000 Megapacks annually. And construction of their third megafactory in Houston is underway, starting production in late 2026. And Elon said, "Have you watched any other shareholder meetings? They are snooze fests. Ours are bangers." And Elon reposted this. Elon also said that the unveiling of the new Roadster is tentatively scheduled for April 1st, 2026. He says he picked April Fools so that he can have deniability in case he doesn't make the date. It will be the most exciting demo ever, whether it works or not. And Elon said, "True." DJ Cow says, "Elon's playing capitalism like a video game." And Elon replied saying, "Speedrunning Factorio in real life." And Mario says even the Pope couldn't stop the future. Pope Leo condemning Elon's trillion-dollar package reveals everything wrong with institutional thinking. He said, but the 75% who voted yes weren't blessing greed. They were choosing civilization's survival over institutional comfort. And Elon said, bullseye. And this Tesla employee said, "Thank you, our shareholders, for your votes. We're now charging full steam ahead to hit those milestones under Elon's leadership. Ad Astra." And Elon replied with a heart. And don't worry, we're still in Tesla, Stefano says, tired of chasing references across dozens of papers. This monograph distills it all, the principles, intuition, and math behind diffusion models. Thrilled to share. Elon said Tesla is using single-step diffusion for world model generation. And on this subject, Inception says that today's large language models are painfully slow and expensive. They are autoregressive and spit out words sequentially, one at a time. Our diffusion large language models generate text in parallel, delivering answers up to 10 times faster. Now we've raised $50 million to scale them. Stefano says, when we began applying diffusion to language in my lab at Stanford, many doubted it could work. That research became Mercury Diffusion Large Language Model, 10x faster, more efficient, and now the foundation of Inception AI. Proud to raise $50 million with support from top investors. Elon said diffusion will obviously work on any bit stream. With text, since humans read from first word to last, there is just a question of whether the delay to first sentence for diffusion is worth it. That said, the vast majority of AI workload will be video understanding and generation, so good chance diffusion is the biggest winner overall. Also means that the ratio of compute to memory bandwidth will increase. And Tanish is the CEO at Sofont AI. And he says diffusion language models are super data learners. When unique data is limited, diffusion language models consistently surpass autoregressive models by training for more epochs. At scale, a 1.7 billion parameter diffusion language model trained with a 1.5 trillion token compute budget on 10 billion unique Python tokens overtakes an autoregressive coder trained with strictly matched settings. In addition, a 1 billion parameter diffusion language model achieves more than 56% accuracy on HelloSwag and more than 33% on MMLU using only 1 billion tokens, without any special tricks, just by repeating standard pre-training data. So Elon replied with an answer by Grok. I should say an analysis by Grok. And Grok concludes that DLMs, or diffusion language models, outperform autoregressive models in data-limited settings by leveraging repeated training epochs. So this challenges autoregressive dominance as data scarcity grows. And finally, Dr. Singularity says, robots like this, capable of cleaning your house and cooking, will be everywhere in 2 to 3 years. Peter Haig says, yeah, they didn't give it boobs to help you do your chores. And Elon has a laugh at that one. And the Pope says technological innovation can be a form of participation in the divine act of creation. It carries an ethical and spiritual weight, for every design choice expresses a vision of humanity. The Church therefore calls all builders of AI to cultivate moral discernment as a fundamental part of their work, to develop systems that reflect justice, solidarity, and a genuine reverence for life. And Elon reposted that. And let's hear from Andrew Wiles on the morning he discovered how to fix his proof of Fermat's last theorem.
And I was sitting here at this desk. It was a Monday morning, September 19th. And I was convincing myself that it didn't work, just seeing exactly what the problem was. When suddenly, totally unexpectedly, I had this incredible revelation. I realized what was holding me up was exactly what would resolve the problem I'd have in my Iwasawa theory attempt 3 years earlier. It was the most important moment of my working life. It was so indescribably beautiful. It was so simple and so elegant. And I just stared in disbelief for 20 minutes. Then during the day I walked around the department. I'd keep coming back to my desk and looking to see it was still there. It was still there. The first night I went back and slept on it. I checked through it again the next morning, and about 11 o'clock I satisfied, and I went down and told my wife, I've got it, I think I've got it, I found it. And it was so unexpected. I think she thought I was talking about a children's toy or something. I said, got what? And I said, I fixed my proof, I've got it.
And Elon reposted this, but if you're wondering, Fermat's last theorem is a famous problem in number theory that was proposed by the French mathematician Pierre de Fermat in the 17th century. The theorem states that there are no positive integer solutions to this equation for any integer greater than 2. In other words, there are no 3 positive integers that can satisfy this equation when n is greater than 2. And Fermat claimed to have a proof for this theorem but never wrote it down, leading to centuries of mathematical inquiry. But as you saw in the video, the theorem was finally proven by Andrew Wiles in 1994, and his proof was a monumental achievement in mathematics. And Grok is getting some upgrades. Their Grok 4 fast reasoning scored up to 94% from a previous score of 77%, but I'm not sure what benchmark this guy is using. He's just an AI enjoyer. And Levels.io says, this is really so useful. Ask a question, then ask Grok to rank the answers. The question was, what hotel do you recommend in Tokyo? And then they asked Grok to rank the top hotels people that mentioned. If multiple people mentioned the same, then add them up. So Grok does this, and the number 1 hotel got over 15 mentions. Elon said Grok can search X and analyze or summarize anything. And I was at work today when I saw this mug, and I immediately thought I have to have that, but they sold out extremely fast. Tech Geek Tesla says these are the coolest mugs ever, and Elon reposted this. And this picture was taken on Mars today. Elon reposted this as well. And Falcon 9 launched another 28 Starlink satellites from California. And with today's launch, SpaceX has hit 170 launches on a rolling 365-day clock. This is made possible by a hardcore focus on safety and reliability. And moving on from tech, Elon writes that the reason government programs are so inefficient is that, unlike a commercial company, the feedback loop for improvement is broken, because they have a state-mandated monopoly and can't go out of business if customers are unhappy. No matter how bad the service is at your DMV, sorry to pick on DMVs, you still have to use your DMV because it's a monopoly. And let's check out this video that Elon commented on.
You can get a plumber to your house in the middle of the night within an hour. But if you go to the ER, you could wait 6 hours. Why? The federal government never tried to make plumbing affordable and accessible. You can buy an 85-inch television for $1,000, but a dialysis machine costs $30,000. Why? The federal government never tried to make televisions affordable and accessible. You can get LASIK surgery done for $1,500 because it's not covered by Medicare or Medicaid because it's elective. But if you get a major surgery, it could cost you $100,000. Why? The federal government never tried to make LASIK affordable and accessible. Socialism is killing every industry it touches.
Absolutely no lies told. So Elon quotes that saying, as soon as you understand that the government is just the DMV at large scale, it makes perfect sense. A declaration of memes says, have you ever noticed the fact that there's a government shutdown in your everyday life? Be honest. The government shutdown has been the perfect time to demonstrate this to everyone. And Elon had a laugh at that one. And declaration of memes says, these are the kinds of intelligent discussions we have with the left. Someone might say, I think the government should have less power. And the left calls that fascism. And Elon has a laugh at that one. And here's Mamdani doing multiple Nazi salutes. I'm sure the media will be all over this. There is another one right there, and there's one more, and Elon reposted this. And he also reposted a clip from Joe Rogan today with Gad Saad saying that empathy is an emotion that has evolved for very clear evolutionary reasons. It can compel us forward. But the problem is when empathy misfires, it either becomes hyperactive or directs empathy to the wrong person. And Mayor Jacob Frey from Minneapolis, as he won re-election, spoke almost a minute in Somali, then said Minneapolis belongs to Somalia. He said this is a moment for unity where the entire Somali community can come together and say, this is our people, this is our city, and we are united behind each other. Paul says the pandering here is insane. And Elon said, And we saw this clip yesterday where Jennifer Welch, a white woman, said at Zoran's victory party, Americans have no culture except for multiculturalism. Crusty white people need to learn how to embrace it. So Roman Helmet Guy said, genuine historical question. Has any other group of people ever used their own ethnicity as a derogatory adjective? Elon said, she is a shameful groveler. And Noemi works at X. And she took this situation with Sydney Sweeney yesterday where she was being forced to apologize, pretending to be Karen, saying, you still work at Twitter? And that's Noemi basically saying, hell yeah. And Elon said, fire. And the Pope says that the media cannot and must not separate itself from the destiny of truth. Transparency of sources and ownership, accountability, quality, clarity, and objectivity are the keys to truly opening citizens' rights for all peoples. And Elon reposted that. And The Fifth Element from 1997 is the kind of sci-fi film that feels impossible today. It's wildly creative, unapologetically weird, and full of heart. Every frame bursts with imagination. It is proof that vision and style can outshine any modern CGI spectacle. And Elon replied to this saying, great movie. And it's a good time to show you guys a Grok Imagine video. The lion sits up. His friends, the zebra and giraffe, come over. The camera follows them vlog style, and the animals stand together for a group shot. The lion is in the middle of the shot. The giraffe bends down, and they pose. And Elon reposted this. So, that is everything that Elon said today. It was really cool to see the Cybercab production line, to see Optimus dancing on stage, and to see the hand, which was just V2, and we saw how complex it was. So, excited to see V3. It was also cool to see the production line for Optimus as well, and here's some of the numbers for how big the production lines are going to be in the future. I believe he said the line at Giga Texas will be 10 million bots produced annually, and safety drivers are going to be out of the robotaxis in Austin by the end of this year, which is in less than 2 months. So that's really exciting. Cybercab starts production in April. Tesla is all systems go on sustainable abundance. And if you guys want early access to these daily videos, you can gain access by joining this channel as a member. And I'll see you guys tomorrow.